Hello, and a very warm welcome. I'm a hotel AI expert specializing in modern hospitality operations, and it's a real pleasure to welcome all of you from Europe Hotel School to this online learning journey. We're here to support your professional growth, so let's get started. All right, so let's get right to the heart of it. When you're launching a new hotel or a new restaurant, you're basically at a crossroads. You have two very different paths you can take. On one side, you've got the grand opening. You know the one. It's all or nothing, high risk, immense pressure, and absolutely no do-overs. But then there's the other path, the soft opening. This is the smart play. It's about controlling risk, gathering priceless data, and giving yourself the chance to perfect everything before you step into the spotlight. And that's exactly what we're going to break down.
So, here's how we're going to tackle this. We'll walk through this as a 5-step process. First up, the why, the strategic purpose. Then, we'll get into the how, with the phased rollout and the guest feedback loop. After that, we'll see how to use that feedback for data-driven refinement. And finally, the big one, making the call to give the grand opening the green light.
Okay, first things first. Let's really define what we're talking about here. What is a soft opening? And more importantly, why do we do it?
You know, it's so easy to think of a soft opening as just a dress rehearsal, but it's so much more than that. Think of it as a bridge, a critical link between all your planning and the real world. You're creating a live testing lab with real guests, but the magic word here is controlled. We're intentionally turning down the heat, reducing the pressure. Why? To give our teams room to learn, and this is absolutely crucial, to avoid those catastrophic opening night failures that can tarnish a reputation before you've even really begun.
All right, so we know the why. Now let's talk about the how. This isn't about just opening the doors and hoping for the best. It's a deliberate, phased strategy all about control and building confidence.
Here's a classic mistake, trying to do everything at once. No way. The smart strategy is to start small. You focus on your lower-risk, higher-volume places first. Think about the casual bistro or the hotel bar. You hold back on that high-pressure fine dining restaurant. And the reason is simple, right? It lets your team find their rhythm, build that crucial muscle memory for service, and work out the kinks in an environment where the stakes aren't quite so high.
And it's not just what you open, it's how much. You have to be incredibly deliberate with your capacity. So week 1, maybe you only open up to 50% of your tables. You let the team get comfortable. If things go well, maybe you push it to 75% in week 2. The real test of a manager here is resisting that urge to just throw the doors wide open. You wait. You wait until the data, not your gut, tells you the team is truly ready for 100%. This is how you prevent burnout and keep standards high.
Now, who are you inviting to this controlled launch? Well, your guest list is just as strategic as everything else. We're not talking about opening up to the public just yet. Instead, you're curating your audience. Think local residents, your business partners, maybe even staff from your sister hotels. These are people who are already on your side. They're more likely to be patient, but more importantly, they're the ones who will give you that honest, detailed, constructive feedback you desperately need. You're not just filling seats, you're handpicking your own expert focus group.
Okay, this next part is the absolute engine of the entire soft opening process. It's the feedback loop. This is where the magic happens, where we take a guest's personal experience and turn it into hard data we can actually use.
So this really begs the question, doesn't it? How do you make sure you're capturing that priceless intelligence from every single person who walks through your door?
Well, the answer is you can't rely on just one thing. You need a multi-pronged attack. Of course, you have your formal methods, like good old-fashioned comment cards. They're great for getting structured, quantifiable data. Then you empower your managers to be on the floor talking to guests. Those one-on-one conversations give you incredible qualitative insights. And in today's world, you absolutely have to be watching the informal channels. Monitoring social media in real time tells you what people are really thinking and saying right at that moment.
And look, all this data is useless if it just sits in a pile. This has to be an active, disciplined process. That means having someone, a dedicated person whose job it is to pull all of this information together into one clear, structured report. And not weekly, but daily. Doing it this way means management can see patterns emerging almost instantly. That's a trend you can act on now, not next week.
So now you've got this daily report. It's not just something to read over coffee. It's your action plan. This is where we put the data to work and start refining the operation in real time. And these adjustments need to be fast and focused. We're generally talking about 3 main areas. First, the menu itself. Is the flavor right? Is the portion size off? We can fix that. Second, service. The data might show a specific training gap or a bottleneck at the host stand. We can fix that too. And third, and this is a big one, our forecasts. We're now using real sales data to adjust our staffing, our ordering, everything.
And how fast do these changes need to happen? Well, the benchmark is 72 hours. That's it. From the moment you spot a trend in the data to the moment you roll out a solution. 3 days. That's not just fast, that's agile management at its best.
There's a great saying that really sums this all up. The data from our first 50 guests is more valuable than a month of kitchen trials. And it's just so true, isn't it? You can practice in an empty kitchen forever, but nothing, absolutely nothing replaces the feedback you get from a real guest in a real service. This is your one shot to get it right before the whole world is watching.
Which brings us to the moment of truth, the final decision gate. It's time to talk about the grand opening and how we decide we're actually ready for it. And hint, it's not about a date on a calendar.
So what's the one thing we're looking for before we give that final green light? It all comes down to one core concept: operational consistency. What does that mean? It means you have proven with data that you can deliver on your brand's promise, that you can provide excellent service and an excellent product over and over again, even when things get busy. It's not about being perfect once, it's about being great consistently.
And let me just be crystal clear on this. You don't move to a grand opening because you feel ready or because a deadline is looming. You move forward only when the data, the guest feedback, the operational metrics, all of it confirms that you've achieved that consistent level of delivery. It's a decision driven by evidence, not by emotion.
Now, this whole systematic, data-first approach, this is the new standard for professional hospitality management. And it's exactly this level of strategic thinking and operational excellence that we're committed to exploring right here in the curriculum at Europe Hotel School.
So, as you move forward in your careers, I want to leave you with one simple but powerful question to ask yourselves. When it comes time for you to launch something new, what will define your success? A date you circled on a calendar, or the data you worked so hard to collect?